Well, hello, everybody. It's Thursday morning. Brooks and I are going to be chatting a little soccer. Welcome into We Are Soccer. As usual, it's a lot of fun, a lot of different things happening. Leagues Cup chaos last night. Arsenal hijacking Tottenham, their big rivals for Edge Tigres. Paxton Aronson is heading home, and lots of chaos in Argentina where a game was abandoned. Brooks, we got a lot to get into here, my friend. You ready?
Yeah, I am ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's jump in.
What? And I'm going to give you one opportunity because we're friends.
Winner! Who gives a shit about where the ball's been?
Yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I love it because it tells you how the game was played.
There's nowhere for him to go. I think there's one place.
You can't do that in the national team. Do I look like I'm freaking kidding?
He does things that are absolutely insane.
Successful and sexy? No. It wasn't aggravating at times? Yes.
Sorry,
That's not very fair.
It's not about being fair.
Welcome to the greatest soccer show ever.
All right, Brooks, just want to let everybody know, if you haven't already joined, make sure you join our Facebook group, We Are Soccer. It's got a lot of these topics in there, a lot of discussions, a lot of good debates, and a lot of good banter. Don't be afraid to jump in and have a little fun. All right, Brooks, we got a lot to get to here, my friend. I want to start out with Leagues Cup chaos last night. Obviously, it was a big game. Inter Miami quarterfinal against Tigres, and it ended up being madness. Miami head coach Javier Mascherano didn't even make it past halftime sent off for arguing. He was arguing the amount of extra time added at the end of the first half. The referee added the fourth official, held up the board that said 4 minutes, and they went to 6 minutes, and Javier Mascherano had a discussion with the referee, and the referee just went, you know what? No, we're done. Here's a red card. See you later. Not a really good look. And then to take it further, he sat in the VIP seats in the stands
On his
phone.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So he sent off with a red card. He spent the rest of the match phoning in tactics from the VIP seats. Miami still pulled off a 2-1 win, but only after Tigres hit both posts on the same header. So the ball comes in, nice header to the far post. It hits off that post, hits off the front post, bounces out, cleared. Heart rates were going up everywhere. Now, Inter Miami move on to the semifinals of the League Cup, but Javier Mascherano is going to be sitting in the stands for that one. And he could be suspended for an additional couple of games because you're not allowed to coach via electronics from the stands. Oh, Brooks, this is just a mess. Is this a good look, a bad look, or doesn't matter? At least they got through. What are your thoughts on it, man?
I think it's a typical, like MLS, Liga MX type of match, right? I mean, it wouldn't be that without chaos. It wouldn't be. I mean, in the past, it's always been yellow card, VAR, talk of why won't you have VAR to review plays because of the dark arts the Liga MX teams use, and it's a typical MLS Liga MX game. There's always drama. There's always gonna be something. You're playing for a trophy. You're playing for a prize money. When you get South Americans involved, playing other South American players that play in Liga MX and Mexican players and everything, it's just the type of game it is. And then the atmosphere in Miami, and what can you do when you got a passionate coach like Javier Mascherano that's deciding that he wants, it's great that he's showing passion, that he's not just kind of letting things go in this league. Like, he wants to win, he wants to do well. And listen, like, this is entertainment, and this is what MLS needs, entertainment, right?
I think you nailed it, man. I think you absolutely nailed it. And listen, Inter Miami knew exactly what they were getting when they signed up Javier Mascherano as their coach. This is the type of player, the way he's acting on the sideline is the exact same way he acted on the field as a player. He went all out. It's all heart. He wears it on his sleeve. I completely agree with you. It's full entertainment, and they knew what they were signing up for. And he got through. They got through to the next round, the semifinals. We'll see if they can continue on there. Just an FYI, obviously Inter Miami, one of the best teams in MLS, but they were without Leo Messi, still injured. He has a little bit of a muscle injury, so he didn't make this game. Luis Suarez did have a goal in this game via penalty kick. So, yeah, they move on, though.
So it's interesting when you say they move on to the semifinals. There's no Liga MX teams left. It's all 4 MLS clubs because Pachuca lost to LA Galaxy and then Pueblo lost to Seattle. So now it's, on the other side of the bracket, we have LA and Seattle, and then we have Miami and Orlando. So another rivalry match between Miami and Orlando. So I'm sure the fans will be enjoying that one. And then we have a West Coast match in LA and Seattle. Like, that should be really interesting. And LA Galaxy are vying for a trophy since they're in pretty much the bottom of the Western Conference. Yeah. So any trophy helps this year with the LA Galaxy and what they've been through this year. So it'll be interesting to see. But 4 MLS teams in the League's Cup final.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when this League's Cup was starting, I even a couple of weeks ago, I believe a lot of the pundits were saying, Liga MX team's going to go on and win this. They always do. They're just a better league, better teams. Not going to happen anymore. Looks like they're all wrong.
Yes. No, I agree. I still think they need to change the format where it just can't be all based in America. They need to really rotate and let teams go down to Mexico and play matches and everything.
Agreed.
Like, it's a grueling trip for the Liga MX teams. And I think just to make this a true competition, MLS teams need to go into Mexico. And honestly, it's a good experience for those guys because it prepares you for CONCACAF Champions Cup. It prepares for the national team players that are going to go play in Mexico and Mexico City and Guadalajara and all those other places. So I think it'd be very helpful if both Mexico and the United States, had games for the League's Cup instead of just being played in the USA.
100%. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering, if they don't know, why all the League's Cup are played here, because the Mexican teams do want to come up here. They want to expand their brand, want to expand the brand of the club and their league. So games are played here so they can, it's marketing essentially.
Yeah.
They're just expanding their brand. But you're right. Maybe in the coming years, it would be nice to see the American teams go down to Mexico and have to play some games there because Brooks, I think you nailed it, man. It prepares some of those players for those CONCACAF games and playing for their national teams. So good call there, buddy. All right, moving on. This has been a little bit of a saga all summer. Will he leave? Won't he leave? Finally, Eberechi Eze has left Crystal Palace. It is now official. In the last week, we've been monitoring the situation, and it looked like Tottenham were ready to sign him. I believe they'd kind of agreed some terms with Eze, but Tottenham were haggling with Crystal Palace over the final fee. And at the last minute yesterday, Arsenal decided, nah, we want him. We're going to hijack this. So Tottenham thought they had the Crystal Palace star wrapped up. They had the deal. They had the terms. They were all ready to pop the champagne. Then Arsenal just strolled in and dropped £67.5 million on the table and said, we'll take him. Thank you very much. Classic Spurs bottling it, dropping it at the last minute. The Gunners moved fast after Kai Havertz's knee injury that he picked up over the weekend. It looks like he could be out for several weeks or more. So they agreed terms with Eze before Spurs could even blink. Palace's playmaker is still set to feature in Thursday's Conference League clash with Fredrikstad. But don't be shocked if that's his farewell gig. Tottenham, it looks like you're back to the transfer boardroom and the drawing board there. Arsenal laughing all the way back to the Emirates.
So does this change?
Classic Spurs.
Yeah. Does this change your perspective of where they finish in the EPL now that they don't have him?
Yes. I think Tottenham are still a good team. Tottenham, I think, are going to be better than they were last year. I think they're going to be better than a lot of people think this year. I think having him would have put them into the top 8. Without him, no way. He is a stud of a player, absolute stud of a player. The only bad thing about Eberechi Eze is he's 27 years old. So he's got 2, maybe 3 good years left, and they paid, Arsenal paid a lot of money for him for a 27-year-old. But I think Spurs really did need him. I think he would have put it over the edge for them. Now he's going to go to Arsenal, and he's going to do very well there. I think this gets them a 2 or 3 extra points in the season. He is that good of a player, man. I'm really happy he went somewhere else. I like Crystal Palace, don't get me wrong, but I want to see him in the Champions League. I want to see him on the bigger stage. I want to see him in those games that everybody watches, because I don't think enough people have watched him at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, agree. Now this makes it interesting because Arteta doesn't do well this year, is there a possibility that you got what you wanted? You've gotten the players you wanted. You spent some money. He doesn't do this well this year, and they finish 4th or 5th, and they don't meet expectations for the fans. Is that a cause for them to let him go?
That's a great question. Listen, they've spent a lot of money. They went out and got Victor Gutierrez. They spent a couple of other players. Now they've gone and got Eze and spent 68 million. Actually, so just so everybody's aware, it's 60 million is what they paid up front with 7.5 million of add-ons, which most likely will happen. Great question. Is Arteta going to make it at the end of the season if they don't win? I mean, is second going to be good enough again? Or we have a couple of Arsenal friends and they want him out. They've said, we've spent a lot of money. We've got the team. Arteta's knocking the man. So Brooks, all right, I'm going to put it to you. You answer it, buddy. Listen, if they finish second this year with all they've spent and all they've brought in, does he keep his job?
I think if they don't win a few trophies, whether it's Champions League or it's the EPL or it's FA Cup or it's the Moose Cup, Carbo Cup, as they call it, if they don't win a few, I think there's going to be some questions from the fans. Is it enough? I mean, they've opened up the pocketbook, right? They've opened up the pocketbook. They spent the money. He's always complained that they've never done that. Now they're finally did that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They've opened up the pocketbook. They spent a lot of money. That stadium fills up. They spent a lot of money to build that stadium. They bring a lot of money in. They've now brought in as you see here. Is he laughing here because he knows what's going to happen? Look, Tottenham's in the background of this picture, so kind of a funny picture. He scored a really nice goal over the weekend, which unfortunately was chalked off due to a small foul by Guehi. Crystal Palace are in a lot of trouble, by the way. So if you want to jump down there for a couple of seconds, Mark Guehi looks like he could be leaving. Obviously, as they left, I think Jean-Claude Mateta may be gone within the January window or next summer. And then Chris Richards will be left there. And I love the fact that Chris Richards starts almost every game here. He is a stalwart in the back line. I really love that. That's going to help him for 2026. But in the end of the summer of next year, he could find his way out of there as well, because I think Palace will drop like a stone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, buddy. Let's keep going here. Just so you're aware, we've all heard the Alexander Isak drama that's happening up in Newcastle. Will Isak be leaving and going to Liverpool? Liverpool have put in a couple of bids, have been rejected. Newcastle are finding it a bit of a struggle to bring players in. They did pay £40 million to Aston Villa for Jacob Ramsey last week. Good move for all involved, in my opinion. Jacob Ramsey getting a little stale, been injured at Villa for the last couple of years, needs to move on. So Villa sold him to Newcastle. Newcastle brought him in. I think it's a good move for the player. I think it's a good move for Newcastle. He can come in on the left-hand side and play from there. Now, the Magpies have just put in a bid for Yohan Wissa from Brentford, and it was rejected flat out. Back to the drawing board for Eddie Howe's men on who they're going to bring in for a forward. I'm pretty sure Yohan Wissa wants to leave there and go up to Newcastle, but Brentford turned it down, rejected it flat out. Not going to happen. I guarantee they'll go back for another bid. Is he worth more than 40 million? We'll see. It looked like. Normally, Brooks, when someone puts in a bid and it's not your valuation, you at least try to haggle a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Brentford just said no, flat out, we're done. They've already sold Brian Mbeumo, Bruno, so this could be a strange one. Are Newcastle going to be stuck with Isak? Oh, by the way, Isak this morning spotted at Newcastle training, wearing the training gear, but training by himself, not with the team. So they say they're going to hang on to him.
Yeah, this sounds like it's there's some final. It may come out on the last day of the transfer window for Isak. To be honest with you, so it's on the fence. And then the question is, if he stays, how do his teammates and his coaches feel after all this? Is he definitely gone in the winter, or are they going to wait to sell him in the summer window next year, though?
There's a lot of money they're turning down for Isak. So, I mean, they've turned down 125 million pounds from Liverpool so far. That's a lot of money. And for a guy who says he doesn't want to be there, will they sell him in January? Are they just willing to let him rot and sit on the bench? I don't know, man. It's interesting, but it looks like they're trying to replace him. They've gone after a couple of players here, and another one's turned Newcastle down. They're struggling to bring players in to fill that number 9 position if Isak doesn't in fact play and stay. So I don't know, man. This seems to be happening. There's a couple of clubs just haggling and not putting the right offers in, and they're getting turned down, and Newcastle's one of them.
I think Newcastle want a lot of money to turn around and go buy another big name. I think that's what they want. If there's a team struggling in the winter transfer window, if it's within the EPL or within another league, a big league, that's what they're going to look to do. Because if they can hang on and stay towards the top, be in that top 5 by winter time, to make a push in the second half of the season or to pick up points during Christmas time and really kind of separate yourself from other clubs there. Maybe that's where they're looking for if they can sell them for a lot of money and turn around and buy someone else. So.
Good call. All right, buddy, moving on. This one will excite you, my friends. All right, here it is. The news I know you're kind of happy about. Paxton Aronson is heading home. Paxton Aronson's European adventure with Eintracht Frankfurt is officially over after nearly 3 years. The 21-year-old midfielder is heading back stateside to join Colorado Rapids for $7 million, a club record fee. Big move for him, big expectations on him coming back to the MLS. I know you're a big fan of this heading home. There's a lot of folks here who would have liked to have seen him stick it out there, try to get a spot, try to continue to learn within the German Bundesliga and within Frankfurt, maybe even find another European team. This has become a little bit of a point of contention, I guess a bigger topic of Americans going to Europe and sticking it out and trying there instead of just coming home when they so-called fail. I don't know if he failed per se, but he's back. What are your thoughts on this move?
For me, I think, listen, people don't understand this. It's like once you've been overseas, like you got to stay overseas. You only hurt your value in your resume, and no coach wants you if you don't play. I mean, how can you go into a team, and yes, you're playing for Eintracht Frankfurt, right? So you're playing for him. That doesn't mean that another coach is going to be like, I want this kid because I understand his talent. You have to understand, all these guys don't just like know every other player in every other league. That's the thing that people really don't understand, and that you have to play in order to be able to move somewhere bigger. And he can't make a bigger mover within Europe because the Europeans don't want players that don't play. So coming back to MLS makes all the sense in the world. If he wants the MLS, if he wants to get into the U.S. men's national team, let's have a chance to. I mean, he was with this team in the past summer in the Gold Cup, but Pochettino values playing time. And if he wants to progress his career, he needs to come back here, have a few good years. And the Rapids, obviously Stan Kroenke owns, the Rapids. Not saying go to Arsenal, but I'm sure there's connections there where he can get sold to, clubs in other leagues in Europe. Yep. Colorado's done it before. The few of the guys they've sold players overseas. Austin Trusty went over, and they've sold one of the Canadian national team guys they had that they drafted from college. That's over there now. So listen, they've done this before, but you have to play and you need to build your soccer resume. Just like work, like you can't do nothing and then expect to apply for a big job, and then all of a sudden you have a chance of going to that big business. You need to do something. You need to make sure you're always building the resume, and you don't build the resume by sitting the bench.
100% agree. So essentially, and does it matter that it's the MLS? Does it matter that it's a so-called lower league than the Bundesliga? No, like you said, just come back and play no matter where it is. And the fact that he's coming home to play here actually may be a very good thing for him. I got to believe he's looking towards next summer, 2026, where the World Cup is hosted here in North America, and he wants to be on that bus with the U.S. national team. So he needs to get time. He needs to get time on the field. Did he have a conversation with Pochettino about this topic and playing next summer and just getting playing time? Who knows? You got to think at least somewhere along the lines he may have had a conversation with the U.S. men's national team organization to say, where am I at? What's going on? So, yeah. No, I mean, I like it. I think it's a good move, Brooks. And you know what? I hate to say it, but darn it, you've sold me on it. You know what? It's not a bad idea coming back to America to try and play and get playing time here. So it's a good move for everybody involved, in my opinion. And Colorado Rapids, $7 million. They obviously believe in the young kid as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to look at this too. It's like Colorado is just above the playoff line, right?
Mhm.
They got Rob Holding. They're making additions with their, very domestic based roster they have.
Mhm.
So listen, you come back here, you make a push in MLS playoffs, you catch Pochettino's eye, you do well, you score some goals, get some assists, make an impact. I mean, if you're one of the most impactful players in any soccer league around the world, people are going to take a look at you no matter what level it's at. So make an impact with Colorado, get them far in the playoffs, get them into the playoffs, for a couple years. And then, your agent can do what he needs to do and get you back overseas.
Yep. Good call there. All right. So a couple of other little pieces here. We're going to stick with U.S. international players. This one also may make you pretty happy, Brooks. All right, U.S. Youth International Adrian Simon Gill has extended his Barcelona contract through 2026. The 19-year-old who joined La Masia in 2018 and has signed his first pro deal in 2022 has been training with the club this summer while recovering from injury. Gill, born in Denver, will now join Juliano Belletti's Barca Athletic squad in Spain's 4th tier. So another American went over, he's trained, he's staying there, he signed a longer contract, he's going to get playing time. This is a good move. I like this.
Yeah.
I like that he signed and he's going to stick it out. This is a tough one for an American in that spot, right?
Yeah, it's tough. Listen, the Diego coaching the goalkeepers over there right now. He's kind of been battling. They've told him he's the next guy. They wanted to loan him out last year, for playing time. He's played with Barcelona B, but obviously the first team wants him playing first team minutes with another club to see if he can handle the pressure and everything. Obviously, Ter Stegen's having a debacle there at Barcelona right now, so I don't know what the future holds for coaching there
Right.
and whatnot. But with Gill, of course, you want Americans coming up through there and playing. Julian Araujo, who plays with the Mexican national team, who plays in the EPL with Bournemouth. He was there for a little bit, then Barcelona sold him over to the Bournemouth. But no, you want guys coming through there. And listen, if you don't make it and you go on to somewhere else, I mean, at least you had some really good experience in training. That's a positive right there. But nothing's guaranteed. La Masia, you can go through there. If La Masia was the king, they would develop every player that came through that, and they all be great pros. But in the reality is, this is life. Only so many guys make it out and become very, very good players. Some become good players. Some don't meet expectations. So, I'm happy for this. It's good to have an American over there, but only time will tell to see how far Gill gets in his progression with his development.
Yep. And listen, he's very young, and goalkeepers, as we know, have a huge, long career compared to outfield players. So good luck to him. Stick around for another couple of years. He's been injured for the last year, so the last several months at least. See what happens from there. I like it. All right, buddy, we're going to head back to Spurs failing again. Forget the transfer drama, man. This one's in the courtroom. Tottenham Hotspur are locked in a bitter and frankly bizarre legal fight with Ineos, Manchester United's minority shareholder, over a commercial deal. And yes, somehow Harry Kane's 2023 move to Bayern Munich has been dragged into the legal mud here, past the popcorn. This is going to be fun to watch. So essentially, there's a commercial deal with Ineos, which is also the minority shareholder in Manchester United, and Tottenham, which has been there for several years. This one is going to go through all the transfers that have happened, all the big transfers that happened through Tottenham and the commercial pieces that are going. So Tottenham, man, just falling apart here on the field and on the transfers. And now looks like they may get screwed again in the courtroom. So just another one.
It's all
Say
going
again?
in clubs. It's all going in clubs. Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Tottenham. If it's not financial, fair play issues, it's one thing or another for all these London clubs. What's going on? There's the mobsters in London got their hands in the clubs or something here?
Too much money involved, man. There's too much money involved. What's happening is a lot of these clubs are having too much money going on. There's too much money involved in the game. So that's where all these issues are coming in. All right, buddy, let's move on. This is an interesting one. I actually watched Olympic Marseille play a game 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, 10 days ago, something like that. And after one of their preseason games, it looks like a couple of their players got into a huge fight in the locker room. So in France, Marseille's season opener against Rennes, it was their season opener, ended in chaos. After the loss, things reportedly got messy in the dressing room. So messy that Adrian Rabiot and Jonathan Rowe have now been transfer listed. That's right. One game into the season, Marseille's already imploding. Classic League One drama. These two players apparently got violent in the locker room together. So, and the club has said, nope, we're not dealing with it. We're off. I watched them play, and I looked at Rabiot and I said, man, I want him. I want Adrian Rabiot at Villa. I really hope, I'd love to see them go and buy this guy. Well, now they got the chance. I think he'd be a great pickup, by the way. Adrian Rabiot, the French international midfielder, is a hell of a player. So
you take him even at 30 years old?
I would, because I don't expect him to play a lot of minutes, but I expect him to play 20, 30, maybe more a game. But I think he's a phenomenal player, and he plays for France still. So, yeah, I know he's older.
Okay.
I still think there's room for him, especially someone who's done so much in the international space like he has. But interesting that those players just got into it at the end of the game and went at it, and it apparently was very violent. So, speaking of violence, Sudamericana chaos in Argentina. The round of 16 clash between Independiente and Universidad de Chile was abandoned Wednesday after violent clashes in the stands left at least 10 fans seriously injured, and nearly 90 people have been arrested. The Libertadores de Americana Stadium is evacuated as supporters hurled projectiles and fought with stones and sticks. The match was tied 1-1 at the time and has officially been canceled by CONMEBOL, citing a failure to guarantee security. Universidad de Chile were leading on aggregates. They will move on. But, man, what the hell is going on? It looks like there may be some very serious injuries involved to the fans here. The police in the stadium were not able to be there in time. I hate hearing these stories, man. It's like you can't even take your kids or family to games anymore.
Well, I mean, we talked to our buddy Pablo, who's a big, who's from Argentina, and he's a huge, not Boca, but
he likes River Plate.
He's a huge River Plate fan, and I mean, he tells us stories. I mean, 45 minutes, beginning, the away fans enter, you wait 45 minutes, and then, the home fans enter. And when you leave the match, away fans leave first. You have to wait in your seats for 48 minutes, and then, then the home fans leave. So it's a rivalry. It's a rivalry. There's a lot of hatred. Unfortunately, it shouldn't come to violence. I mean, violence is a little much, but unfortunately, there's instigators in these supporters groups and whatnot, and when instigating happens, unfortunately, all this happens.
Yeah, sad state of affairs, but welcome to South American soccer, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And some European club soccer as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, buddy. All right, this is today like Christmas for you because the NCAA men's soccer begins today. You are so happy about this. You're a huge college soccer aficionado. You love it. You're almost an expert in it with everything you know. So is today the day? Is today the day you've been looking forward to? You're like, hell yeah, it's here. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the fun part in this early part of the year is you get to see all the non-conference matches. You get to see the teams outside, the teams outside the Big Ten, outside of the, the Big Ten, the ACC, all that stuff. Get to play each other, and there's some interesting matchups here. For me, the big one, as you can see, everyone with the graphic here, number 11, Indiana hosting number 9, Clemson. Indiana went down there a few years back. They lost to Clemson 3-2. So obviously Todd Yeagley and his crew are looking for a W here early on in the season with the big win.
That's like a staple of Todd Yeagley and Indiana's thing. They love starting out with big games. They love just going hard and heavy and saying, we're going to challenge ourselves. They've done it the last couple of years. They're doing it again. I love it. I think it's great. So kudos to Coach Yeagley and his Indiana Hoosiers for doing that every year.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be on BTN Plus. Unfortunately, you need to subscribe to it if you don't have BTN Plus. But if you do, turn on the match. It'd be a good one. Check the social media to stay with the updates. Next one, number 15, Duke is hosting San Diego. San Diego had a great year last year. They made a good run in the NCAA tournament. Duke won the last matchup here. It's always tough to go into Durham and win, but this will be a solid matchup. A little East Coast, West Coast going to play each other. This will be an intriguing one. Number 4, Denver hosts Washington. Denver made the College Cup last year. They've lost Sam Bassett, who now is with the Colorado Rapids, so it's a little bit of a new team for Jamie Franks at Denver. But Jamie Clark at Washington, very young squad last year, just made the NCAA tournament. A lot of interesting players there were Charlie Kosakoff as a center forward, Harrison Burtos, who was drafted by San Diego in the MLS Super Draft last year, is coming back. Richie Amon, the dynamic winger that Washington has. Be a good matchup, a good early matchup. Last year, 2024, these two teams played, and Denver won to Washington, drew 2-2. So we'll see what happens when Washington travels to Denver. And then High Point University in Georgetown. High Point's a very underrated, smaller program. The coach does really well there. They have a phenomenal program that recruits players from all across the country. That should be an interesting match as Georgetown heads into there. The last time these two teams played, High Point went into Georgetown when they were ranked number 2 previously. I think it was in 2022. And they drew with Georgetown 1-1. And then finally, a good local match. Michigan plays Notre Dame, always a rivalry in every sport. Yep. The Fighting Irish have a huge series lead in this one. I think they have 13 wins, 4 losses, and 4 draws against the Wolverines. Dang. It's been very obviously lopsided because Notre Dame's had the soccer program longer than Michigan. Yep. But Michigan went into Notre Dame last year and won. This should be good. Michigan's added 11 or 12 new players. Notre Dame's pretty young. They lost Jacob Bartlett to SKC. The homegrown player went to go sign a homegrown contract with Sporting Kansas City in MLS. So this should be an interesting one tonight. A couple Michiganders on Notre Dame as well. Alex Rosine from Rochester and Ren Sylvester from in the Ann Arbor area. Ren left the Michigan Jags to go play for FC Dallas Academy. And then Alex Rosine played for Vardar in MLS next. So just get to see if they get time as freshmen tonight. If you make it out to the game, that would be a good one to go to as well tonight.
Brooks, you are the college soccer guy, man. Listen, if anybody out there isn't following Brooks and We Are Soccer on socials, please do it. As you can see, the graphics he's put together, it's not only why these teams are playing, but the players to watch. And he's going to continue to do this, and where you can watch some of these games if they're on TV. So make sure you tune in, follow all of Brooks and We Are Soccer's updates, because if you're into college soccer like Brooks is, he's your guy. All right, buddy. Now there's the women. Don't forget about the women. Here is your week 1 United Soccer Coaches poll. I don't like the Michigan State's down at number 20 there, but listen, this is a nice list to be on.
Yeah, it is. And Michigan State drew with Colorado in their first match 1-1, and they just drew with Dayton. As you can see, Dayton received votes there at the bottom.
Yep.
Big upset early on. UNC goes, Tennessee beats UNC early on. North Carolina was the preseason number 1 overall. So that's a huge win for Tennessee. Some good matches tonight. So we have TCU and Iowa play, so that'll be a really good one. Number 9 and number 13.
Yeah.
Obviously Michigan State plays NC State tonight. Any ACC team is always difficult to play against because the ACC is probably the best conference in women's soccer, then the SEC, then probably the Big Ten. So it'll be a good one. That's probably the biggest one. Texas Tech and Santa Clara, number 25 Texas Tech and number 16 Santa Clara play. And then at 7 p.m., Ohio State, number 18, and South Carolina play tonight as well. So some good matchups always. In this poll, ACC has the most teams there, followed by the Big Ten and the SEC. No surprise there. The Big 12 have some teams in there as well. But it should be an exciting season for women's college soccer. I know we're looking forward to see what Jeff Hauser does at Michigan State, as we're Spartan alum here. So it would be interesting to see how the Sparties do.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm expecting a lot from both the men and the women of Michigan State this year. It's big years. Jeff Hauser continuing to take that program to new heights every season. What a dramatic turnaround he has had there. And it'll be nice to see Damon Rensing and his staff take Michigan State back to men's soccer, back to where it needs to be. So we'll be following along. All right, buddy, appreciate it. Listen, anything else you want to add in, or are we going to wrap it up for the day? Because this has been a little fun morning for us here.
Just to add just a few more games. So Western Michigan hosts Kentucky today at 5:30. That's one match I'll be driving out to watch. Michigan State men host UC Riverside, so that'd be a good one. Oakland travels to Loyola Chicago. In Detroit Mercy, Nate Kupenick's team heads to number 12 Dayton. Coach Courier does a very good job down there in Dayton. Always a very good squad. So there's some more games for you. But other than that, I am good.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you joining us here, and everybody else who joined us. Do us a huge favor, like, subscribe, share our video, share our channel. We'd very much appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor, click that little bell that's in the upper right-hand corner so you're alerted when we go live and when we put new videos up. But for us today, I think that's going to round us off. Enjoy your college soccer as men's soccer kicks off today. As you heard Brooks say, there's a bunch of games to get to. Try to get out to some of them. Going out to watch good college soccer is something we all should be doing more of. But for now, that's going to wrap us up. Brooks, appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.